The invitation to my parents' 25th anniversary party came via the family group chat. No formal card, no personal message. Just my sister Lauren announcing, "Anniversary party for Mom and Dad this Saturday, 6 p.m. at their place. Everyone better show up." I almost didn't go. I'd spent the past 7 years distancing myself from family gatherings, from the constant judgment, from the endless commentary about my life choices. But 25 years was a milestone. And despite everything, they were still my parents. I arrived at 6:15 p.m., fashionably late enough to avoid the initial awkward small talk. My parents lived in a nice townhouse in the Riverside district, 3 bedrooms, updated kitchen, small backyard. They'd moved there 4 years ago after selling their old house in the suburbs. What they didn't know was that I owned the townhouse. And the entire building it was in. And the 3 buildings next to it. "Rebecca, you made it." Mom opened the door looking genuinely surprised. As if I was some unreliable guest instead of her daughter. "Wouldn't miss it. Happy anniversary, Mom." "Thank you, honey. Come in, come in." Everyone's in the living room. Everyone was my sister Lauren and her husband Marcus, my brother Jason and his girlfriend Tiffany, my Aunt Carol, Uncle Bob, and a few of my parents' close friends. 15 people total, all dressed in business casual, all holding wine glasses, all looking successful and settled. I was wearing jeans and a sweater. Comfortable. Practical. The uniform of someone who worked from home and didn't care about impressing anyone. "Rebecca." Lauren spotted me immediately. She was wearing a designer dress that probably cost more than my monthly grocery budget. "Oh my God, you actually came. I told Marcus you'd probably bail." "I'm here." "And you wore that." She looked me up and down. "Jeans? Really? It's Mom and Dad's anniversary. It's Saturday evening. I wore what I'm comfortable in. Some of us have standards." She laughed and a few people joined in. That polite laughter that really means, "We agree but we're too civilized to say it." I grabbed a glass of wine from the kitchen and found a corner to occupy. The party flowed around me like water around a rock. People talked about their jobs, their vacations, their kids, their accomplishments. Nobody asked me about my life. They'd long since decided there was nothing interesting to ask about. Dinner was catered, fancy sandwiches and salads, the kind of meal that looked expensive but left you hungry. We ate in the living room, balancing plates on our laps, while Dad told stories about their wedding day and Mom blushed and corrected details. 25 years, Dad said, raising his glass. "Never thought we'd make it, but here we are. And look at what we've built. Beautiful family. Successful kids. Well, mostly successful." He glanced at me when he said it. Just a brief glance, but everyone noticed. Lauren jumped in. "Rebecca is successful in her own way. She's very independent." The way she said independent made it sound like a character flaw. "What are you doing these days, Rebecca?" my Aunt Carol asked. He meant well. Carol always meant well. "Still working in property management." "Property management. That's nice. So you help people find apartments." "Something like that." "My daughter is a property manager too," one of Mom's friends said. "She works for a big company downtown. Makes pretty good money." "Do you work for a company?" "I work for myself." "Oh, you're self-employed. That must be hard. All that uncertainty." "It has its challenges. I always tell my kids, get a stable job with benefits. Self-employment is risky. No pension, no security. You're basically always one bad month from disaster." She said it like she was giving sage advice, not insulting my entire career. "I manage okay." Lauren laughed. "Define, manage okay." "Rebecca lives in a tiny apartment and drives a car from 2015. I wouldn't call that managing. My car runs fine." "Sure, but don't you want more? Don't you want to upgrade your life? You're 32, Becca. Most people your age are buying houses, starting families, building real lives. I have a real life. Do you? You work from home doing whatever it is you do. You live alone. You don't travel, you don't go out, you don't post anything on social media. It's like you're invisible. I like my privacy. Privacy is one thing. But this is isolation. You're isolating yourself from everyone, from opportunities, from the chance to actually live." She set down her wine glass, warming to her subject. Everyone was listening now. "Honestly, Becca, maybe you should just give up this whole independence thing and move back home. Mom and Dad have the extra room. You could save money, figure out what you really want to do with your life. The room went quiet, waiting for my response. Move back home, I repeated. It's not shameful. Lots of people your age are living with their parents. The economy is tough. Housing is expensive. There's no shame in admitting you need help. You think I need help? I think you're struggling. And instead of asking for help, you're pretending everything is fine. But it's not fine, Becca. Look at you. You're stuck. And sometimes being stuck means you need to go backwards before you can go forward. Everyone was nodding. Poor Rebecca, struggling to make it, too proud to ask for help. Maybe you're right, I said quietly. Maybe I should consider it. Mom looked hopeful. Honey, you know you're always welcome here. We'd love to have you back. You could take the upstairs bedroom, have your own space. I appreciate that. I'll think about it. Lauren smiled, satisfied that she'd given me good advice. That she'd helped her struggling little sister. It's for the best. Sometimes we all need a reset. No judgment. No judgment, I echoed. The party continued. More wine, more stories, more discussion of everyone's achievements. I smiled and nodded and played the role of the family underachiever who'd just been given a graceful exit strategy. When I left at 10 p.m., Mom hugged me extra tight. Think about what Lauren said, honey. We really would love to have you here. I'll think about it. Thanks for the party. I drove home in my 2015 Honda Civic. The one I kept specifically because it was reliable and unassuming and didn't draw attention. I parked in the underground garage of my building and took the elevator to the penthouse. My actual home. 3,000 square feet, floor-to-ceiling windows, 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a home office, and a view of the entire city. I'd bought the entire top floor 4 years ago for cash. Nobody in my family knew about it. They still thought I lived in the 1-bedroom apartment I'd rented when I was 24. I poured myself a Real glass of wine, not the cheap stuff from the party, and sat by the window looking out at the city lights. Then I made a phone call. Rebecca? It's late. My property manager, James, sounded alert despite the hour. He'd worked for me for 6 years and was used to odd-hour calls. I need you to do something for me. Of course. What do you need? The Riverside Luxury Apartments, Unit 412. That's my sister Lauren's unit. I want an eviction notice sent. Eviction? Has she violated the lease? Pull up her file. I heard keyboard clicks. Okay, I've got it. Lease started 3 years ago. Rent is $2,800 per month. And though she's 2 months behind on rent. 2 months. Yes. We sent her a first notice 3 weeks ago. She hasn't responded or paid. Then we're well within our rights to proceed with eviction. Send the formal notice. 30 days to vacate or pay the full amount owed plus late fees. Rebecca, are you sure? She's your sister. She's also a tenant who isn't paying rent. This is business. All right. I'll process it tomorrow. Anything else? Yes. The Riverside Townhomes, Unit 7B. That's my parents' place. I want you to review their lease. More typing. They're current on rent. No violations. Good tenants overall. Note their file for review in 30 days. And James? The Sterling Building downtown, 5th floor. That's my brother-in-law Marcus's office space. Review that lease too. You're planning something. I'm planning to stop subsidizing people who think I'm a failure. How much have I been charging Lauren for that apartment? $2,800 per month. What's market rate for that unit? For a 2-bedroom luxury apartment in that area? Market rate is about $4,200. So I've been giving her a $1,400 monthly discount. Essentially, yes. And she's still 2 months behind. What about my parents? Their townhouse rents for $2,200. Market rate is $3,500. So I'm subsidizing them $1,300 per month. Yes. And Marcus's office? He pays $3,000 for his suite. Market rate is $4,800. I did the math in my head. I'd been giving my family nearly $4,000 per month in rent discounts. Almost $50,000 per year. For 3 years. And they thought I was the one struggling. Process Lauren's eviction. Flag the other 2 accounts. And James. Yes. In exactly 2 weeks, I want rent increase notices sent to both my parents and Marcus. Bring them to market rate. They have 60 days to accept the new terms or vacate. That's going to cause problems. That's the idea. 2 weeks later, I was working in my home office when my phone rang. Lauren. I let it ring twice before answering. Hi, Lauren. Rebecca. Oh my God, you need to help me. The landlord is trying to kick me out. Kick you out? Why? I don't know. They sent this eviction notice saying I'm behind on rent, but that can't be right. I pay my rent. When was the last time you paid? I don't know. Marcus handles the bills. But we always pay. This is some kind of mistake. What does Marcus say? He's freaking out. He says we've been tight on cash, that we might have missed a payment or two, but they can't just kick us out over that. Actually, they can. If you're significantly behind on rent, they have the legal right to evict. But where am I supposed to go? This is my home. I've lived here for 3 years. Maybe you could move back in with mom and dad. Save some money. Figure out what you really want to do with your life. Silence. Then, that's not funny, Rebecca. I'm not joking. You said it yourself at the party. Sometimes people need to go backwards before they can go forward. I'm not moving back home. I'm a grown woman with a career and a husband. I can't live with my parents. Then pay your rent. I can't. We don't have $6,000 just lying around. Do you know how much we owe on Marcus's car? On my credit cards? We're drowning here. Have you tried talking to the landlord? Maybe they'll work out a payment plan. I don't even know who the landlord is. The property is managed by some company. I've been trying to call them all morning, but they keep putting me on hold. What's the company name? Horizon Property Management. Have you heard of them? I've heard of them. Can you help me? Please? Call them or something. You work in property management. Maybe you have connections. I might have some connections. Please, Becca. I'm desperate. I know we haven't always been close, but you're my sister. I need you. Now she needed me. After years of dismissing me, after publicly suggesting I move back home because I was failing, now she needed me. Let me make some calls, I said. I'll see what I can do. Thank you. Thank you so much. I knew I could count on you. After I hung up, I called James. Did Lauren call you? 17 times. I finally answered. She asked for a payment plan. What did you tell her? I told her the owner would need to approve any payment arrangements. She asked to speak to the owner. I said the owner doesn't take tenant calls directly. Good. String her along for a few days. Make her think there's hope. Then deny the payment plan and move forward with eviction. You're enjoying this. I'm protecting my investment. There's a difference. Whatever helps you sleep at night. 3 days later, Mom called. Rebecca, honey, we need to talk. We got this letter from our landlord. They're raising our rent. By a lot. How much? From $2,200 to $3,500. That's over $1,000 more. We can't afford that. Your father's on a fixed income. Have you tried negotiating? The letter says the new rate is non-negotiable. It's market rate for the area. If we don't agree, we have to move out in 60 days. Where would you go? I don't know. We love this place. We've been here 4 years. And now suddenly they decide to price us out? It's not fair. Life isn't fair, Mom. Rebecca, you work in property management. Is this legal? Can they really raise rent this much? If it's in the lease, yes. Most leases have clauses allowing rent increases with proper notice. This is a nightmare. Your father is so stressed. And with Lauren's eviction situation. Lauren's being evicted? You didn't hear? She's 2 months behind on rent. They're kicking her out. She's a mess. Marcus is talking to lawyers, but they say there's nothing they can do if she legitimately owes the money. That's terrible. It is. And now we're facing a massive rent increase. I don't know what we're going to do. You could downsize. Find something cheaper. Cheaper places aren't in nice neighborhoods. We've worked our whole lives to live somewhere decent. And now we're being pushed out by greedy landlords who only care about money. Most landlords are just running businesses, Mom. Well, this one is running us into the ground. I wish I knew who owned the building. I'd give them a piece of my mind. Maybe they have their reasons. What reasons could justify this? We've been model tenants. Always paid on time, never caused problems. This is just greed. I'll ask around. See if anyone in my network knows about the property. Would you? Maybe you could find out who the owner is. Maybe they'd listen to you, professional to professional. Maybe. Over the next week, the situation escalated. Lauren called me 6 more times. Each call more frantic than the last. The landlord had denied her payment plan. Marcus had tried to negotiate and been shut down. They had 3 weeks to vacate or pay the full amount owed plus fees, nearly $7,000 total. Mom called twice, once in tears about the rent increase, once to ask if I'd found out anything about their landlord. Then Jason called. My brother, who I hadn't spoken to in 6 months. Rebecca, it's Jason. Hi. Look, I know we're not close, but I need a favor. Lauren and Mom are both dealing with landlord issues. Lauren's being evicted, Mom's rent is skyrocketing. And now Marcus just found out his office rent is going up 60%. That's a lot of rent increases. It's suspicious. 3 different properties, 3 different rent problems, all hitting the family at once. I think someone is targeting us. Targeting you? That's paranoid. Is it? Think about it. What are the odds that all 3 properties would have issues at the same time? Pretty good odds if the market is adjusting. Rent increases aren't unusual. But evictions and massive increases all at once? Come on, Rebecca. Something's going on. What do you want me to do about it? You work in property management. Can you look into these companies? See if they're connected? See if there's some kind of pattern. I can look. Thank you. Because if someone is doing this deliberately, we need to know. Lauren is freaking out. Mom and Dad might have to move. And Marcus's business could tank if his rent doubles. I'll see what I can find. After I hung up, I sat at my computer and pulled up the 3 property files. Riverside Luxury Apartments, owned by Horizon Property Management, which was a subsidiary of RMK Holdings, which was owned by me. Riverside Townhomes, owned by Riverside Residential LLC, which was a subsidiary of RMK Holdings, which was owned by me. Sterling Building, owned by Sterling Commercial Properties, which was a subsidiary of RMK Holdings, which was owned by me. 3 properties. 3 leases. All owned by me. All occupied by family members who thought I was a failure. I called James. It's time. Time for what? Time to tell them. Set up a meeting. Lauren, my parents, Marcus. Tell them the owner wants to discuss their lease situations in person. Tomorrow, 2 p.m. at the Horizon Property Management office. You're going to reveal yourself? I'm going to give them a choice. Pay market rate and stay or leave. But I want them to know who they're negotiating with. This is going to be dramatic. That's the point. The next day, I arrived at the Horizon Property Management office at 1:45 p.m. James had set everything up perfectly. Conference room, documents prepared, coffee and water on the table. They're all in the waiting room, James said. They think they're meeting with the owner to negotiate. How do they seem? Nervous. Angry. Lauren's been pacing. Your dad keeps checking his watch. Marcus is on his phone, probably texting his lawyer. Perfect. Give me 5 minutes, then send them in. I sat at the head of the conference table. Arranged my folders. Took a deep breath. This was it. The moment they'd learn the truth. James opened the door. The owner will see you now. They filed in. Lauren first, then Marcus, then my parents. They were all talking, complaining about greedy landlords and unfair business practices. Then they saw me. Rebecca. Lauren stopped dead. What are you doing here? Sit down. We're here to meet with the owner. I know. Sit down. They sat slowly, confusion on their faces. I don't understand, Mom said. Why are you here? I'm here because I'm the owner. Silence. Complete absolute silence. You're the what? Lauren finally said. The owner. Horizon Property Management is my company. The Riverside Luxury Apartments where you live. I own the building. The Riverside Townhomes where Mom and Dad live. I own those too. The Sterling Building where Marcus has his office? Also mine. That's impossible, Marcus said. You're a property manager. You don't own buildings. I own 41 buildings across the city. Residential, commercial, mixed use. Total portfolio value of approximately $127 million. I started buying properties 9 years ago. I've been building this for nearly a decade. This is insane, Lauren said. You're lying. I slid papers across the table. Deeds, corporate documents, tax records. Proof of ownership for all 3 properties. Dad picked up a document. Read it. His face went pale. You own our townhouse. I own the entire complex. 8 units. You're in Unit 7B. But we've been paying rent for 4 years. Yes. Well below market rate. I charged you $2,200 when I could have charged $3,500. I gave you a $1,300 monthly discount. Call it a family favor. A family favor? Lauren's voice was rising. You're evicting me. That's not a favor. You're 2 months behind on rent. That's a breach of lease. I gave you discounted rent and you still couldn't pay. What kind of favor do you want? I want you to forgive the debt. I want you to let me stay. Why would I do that? Because I'm your sister. You're also a tenant who owes me nearly $6,000. Family doesn't exempt you from business obligations. Mom leaned forward. Rebecca, honey, why didn't you tell us? Why did you let us think you were struggling? Biz, you never asked. You assumed. At the anniversary party, Lauren suggested I move back home because I was stuck and struggling. None of you bothered to ask if that was actually true. We thought you needed help. No, you thought I was a failure. There's a difference. You saw my old car and my modest clothes and you decided I was barely making it. It never occurred to you that maybe I was living below my means by choice. That maybe I was investing in assets instead of appearances. So you've been secretly rich this whole time? Jason looked betrayed. While we all worried about you, you didn't worry about me. You pitied me. You talked about me like I was a charity case. Poor Rebecca, can't get her life together, maybe she should move back home. That's not fair. Lauren said. We were trying to help. You were trying to feel superior. You loved having a sister who was less successful than you. It made you feel better about your own lives. That's not true. Isn't it? Lauren, you spent 3 years living in my apartment paying below market rent, while mocking my career choices at every family gathering. You posted Instagram photos from your amazing apartment, never knowing your struggling little sister was actually your landlord. I didn't know. Exactly. You didn't know. Biz, you never asked. You just assumed. Marcus spoke up. What about my office? You've been my landlord for how long? 3 years. I gave you a deal too. $3,000 when market rate is $4,800. And now you're raising it? Now I'm bringing it to market rate. You're a business owner. You understand business decisions. This is personal, not business. Is it? Because when Lauren suggested I move back home because I was failing, that felt pretty personal. When everyone laughed and agreed, that felt personal. When my own family spent years treating me like I was barely competent, that felt very personal. So this is revenge? Dad's voice was quiet. You're punishing us? I'm removing the subsidies. You wanted me to stop pretending I was independent? Fine. Now you can stop pretending you succeeded without me. Without you. Dad, your retirement. You had to supplement it because it wasn't enough. Who do you think arranged the low rent on your townhouse? Lauren, your lifestyle. Designer clothes, fancy dinners, luxury apartment. How did you afford all that on your salary? You couldn't. That's why you're 2 months behind on rent. And Marcus, your office in a premium building. Did you ever wonder why your rent was so much lower than comparable spaces? They stared at me. I've been subsidizing all of you for years. Giving you below market rents. Letting you live beyond your means. And you repaid me by treating me like a failure. Like someone who needed saving. We didn't know, Mom whispered. You should have asked. What happens now? Lauren asked. Are you really going to evict me? That depends. Can you pay the $6,000 you owe? No. Then yes, I'm evicting you. I'm running a business, not a charity. Rebecca, please. I'm your sister. Doesn't that mean anything? You're my sister. You're also someone who publicly humiliated me at our parents' anniversary party. Who suggested I move back home because I was too incompetent to manage my own life. Who laughed at my clothes and my car and my choices. So no, right now being my sister doesn't mean much. He started crying. Real tears, not the manipulative kind. Where am I supposed to go? Maybe you should give up this whole luxury apartment thing and move back home. Those were your words, Lauren. Maybe they apply to you too. Marcus put his arm around her. This is cruel. Is it? Or is it just consequences? I gave you all a gift. Affordable housing in an expensive city. And you took it for granted. Worse, you used it to mock me. To make yourselves feel superior. Well, now the gift is over. What about us? Dad asked. Can we stay if we pay the new rent? If you can afford it, yes. Market rate is $3,500. If you pay that, you can stay. We can't afford that much. Then you'll need to find somewhere else to live. Mom was crying now too. You're forcing us out of our home? I'm asking you to pay what the space is worth. Just like you'd pay any other landlord. But you're not any other landlord. You're our daughter. I'm also a business owner who's been giving you a $1,300 monthly discount for 4 years. That's over $60,000 in subsidies. Did you ever thank me for that? Did you ever acknowledge it? Well, because you didn't know. And you didn't know because you never bothered to ask about my life. The room fell silent. My family sat there, processing the fact that the daughter they'd pitted was actually the landlord they owed. I'll give you all a choice, I said finally. You can pay market rate and stay. Or you can leave. But the days of discounted rent are over. Why are you doing this? Jason asked. He'd been quiet until now. Is it really just about the anniversary party? It's about 32 years of being underestimated. Of being dismissed. Of being treated like the family disappointment when actually, I'm the one keeping you all afloat. I'm tired of it. So I'm done. Done with what? Done subsidizing people who don't appreciate it. Done helping people who think I need help. Done being invisible in my own family. You're not invisible. Really? When was the last time anyone asked about my work? My life? My dreams? You talk about Lauren's marketing career and Marcus's business ventures and Dad's golf game. When do you talk about me? No one answered. Exactly. I've been invisible for years. And I let you think I was struggling because it was easier than dealing with your judgment about having money. But now you know. And now you get to make choices. Pay market rate or leave. Those are your options. I stood up. James will handle the paperwork. You have until the end of the month to decide. Rebecca, wait, Mom said. Can we talk about this? Really talk. What's left to talk about? About why we didn't see you. About how we failed you. About how sorry we are. You're sorry because I have power over you now. You're sorry because you need something from me. That's not real apology. That's fear. It's not just fear. She stood up too. Rebecca, I love you. I'm proud of you. I had no idea you'd accomplished all this, but I'm so proud. And I'm sorry I didn't see it sooner. You're proud now. 2 weeks ago at the party, you wanted me to move back home because you thought I was failing. I was wrong. I'm so sorry. We were all wrong. I looked at my family. At their tear-stained faces and desperate eyes. At the people who'd loved me but never really seen me. I'll tell you what, I said slowly. You want to stay in your places? Fine. Here's the deal. You pay market rate going forward. No more discounts. No more special treatment. You're tenants like anyone else. We can't afford market rate, Dad said. Then downsize. Find something cheaper. Live within your means. Like I've been doing for years. But you're not living within your means. Lauren said. You own all this. I am living within my means. I just choose not to spend it on things that don't matter. I drive an old car because it's reliable. I dress simply because fashion doesn't interest me. I live modestly because I'd rather invest than consume. But you all saw that modesty and decided it meant failure. What do you want from us? Marcus asked. I want you to see me. Really see me. Not as the daughter who needs saving. Not as the sister who's struggling. But as the person I actually am. The one who built something real while you were all judging my car. We see you now, Mom said. Do you? Or do you just see my bank account? She didn't answer. I walked to the door. Turn back. You have until the end of the month. Pay market rate or leave. James will send you updated lease agreements. Sign them or don't. Your choice. Rebecca. Lauren's voice was small. Can I ask you something? What? If I can't pay the back rent, if I have to leave, will you help me find a new place? In one of your other buildings maybe. I almost laughed. Almost. But it wasn't funny. It was sad. No, Lauren. I won't. You're on your own. Just like I've been for years. But you weren't on your own. You had all of us. Did I? Because when I needed support, when I needed someone to believe in me, where were you? You were too busy assuming I was failing to notice I was succeeding. I left them there in the conference room. Left them with their choices and their consequences and their sudden realization that the family failure was actually the most successful one of all. Over the next 3 weeks, I waited to see what they'd decide. Lauren called 17 times. I didn't answer. She left voicemails begging for help, for mercy, for another chance. She'd found the money, she said. She and Marcus had borrowed from his parents. Could she please stay? I had James respond. Pay the debt plus late fees, sign a new lease at market rate, or vacate. No negotiations. They chose to vacate. Moved in with Marcus's parents temporarily. According to the family grapevine, they were downsizing and reassessing priorities. My parents signed the new lease at market rate. Dad took a part-time consulting job to cover the increase. Mom started a small online business selling crafts. They were adjusting. Jason called once. I get why you did this. And for what it's worth, I'm sorry. We should have seen you. Should have asked. Should have cared more about who you actually are instead of who we thought you should be. Thank you. Are we okay? I don't know yet. Ask me in a year. Fair enough. 6 months later, I ran into Lauren at a coffee shop. She was carrying shopping bags from budget stores, wearing normal clothes instead of designer labels. She looked different. More real somehow. Rebecca. Hi. Hi. Can we talk? Just for a minute. I almost said no. But she looked sincere. 1 minute. I wanted to say thank you. That surprised me. For evicting you? For teaching me a lesson I needed to learn. That I was living beyond my means. That I was taking things for granted. That having a luxury apartment doesn't make you successful if you can't actually afford it. Where are you living now? Smaller place. 1 bedroom in the suburbs. It's not glamorous. But it's mine. I can actually afford it. And it's teaching me to appreciate what I have instead of always wanting more. That's good. Marcus and I are in therapy. Working through some things. Turns out we had a lot of financial stress we weren't dealing with. The eviction forced us to face it. I'm glad you're working on it. Are you? Or are you just being polite? I thought about it. I think I'm glad. I didn't do this to destroy you, Lauren. I did it because I was tired of being invisible while funding your lifestyle. I know. And you were right. About all of it. We did treat you like a failure. We did mock your choices. And we were wrong. Yes, you were. Can we try again? Being sisters. Maybe. Eventually. I'm not ready yet. I understand. But I want you to know, I see you now. The real you. The one who built all this. And I'm proud of you. And sorry it took losing everything for me to realize what you'd accomplished. Thank you. She left, and I sat in the coffee shop thinking about family and forgiveness and whether people could really change. My phone buzzed. Hi, honey. Just wanted to let you know your father and I finally moved our stuff into storage. The townhouse is clear except for furniture. We're ready to move to the smaller place. You're moving. We can't afford $3,500 a month, even with Dad's consulting work. So we found a nice 1-bedroom place for $1,500. It's small, but it's enough for us. Mom. And before you say anything, this is good for us. We'd been living beyond our means for years. Using credit cards to fill the gaps. The rent increase forced us to face reality. We're actually doing better now. Less stress, less pressure. I'm glad. Are you? Are you really? I think so. I didn't want to hurt you. I just wanted you to see me. We see you now. And Rebecca? Yes. We're proud of you. So incredibly proud. And we're sorry we didn't say it before. We're sorry we were so blind. Thank you, Mom. Can you come to dinner? At our new place? Just family. No judgment, no pressure. Just us trying to be better. I thought about it. About whether I could sit at a table with people who'd hurt me. Whether I could give them another chance. Okay, I said finally. I'll come to dinner. Really? Really? But Mom? I'm driving my 2015 Honda. And wearing jeans. And if anyone has anything to say about it, I'm leaving. She laughed. Deal. Come as you are. That's all we ever should have wanted. Dinner was awkward. Of course it was. But it was also honest. They asked about my business. Really asked, really listened. Dad wanted to know how I'd financed my first property. Mom asked about my long-term strategy. Jason asked for advice on his own investments. For the first time in years, maybe ever, they saw me as someone with knowledge worth learning. As someone successful. As someone valuable. Was it forgiveness? Not yet. But it was a start. And sometimes a start was enough. Because I'd finally done what I'd needed to do. I'd made myself visible. Made them see me. Made them understand that the daughter they'd pitied was actually the one holding their whole world together. And now that they knew, now that they understood, maybe we could build something real. Something honest. Something based on who we actually were, not who we pretended to be. I left that dinner feeling lighter than I had in years. Not because they'd apologized. Not because they'd seen me. But because I'd finally stopped hiding. I'd shown them exactly who I was. And survived their reaction. And that was more powerful than any property I could own. That was freedom.